Sports with me, Razak Musbao. Now, the Black Queens of Ghana have advanced to the next round of 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations qualifiers after displaying a dominant performance with a resounding 5-0 win over Rwanda in the second leg of the qualifiers. Now, midfielder Alice Kusi did steal the show with a remarkable hat-trick, while Evelyn Bedu and Stella Nyamiche added the other goals to ensure that the Queens secured a commanding 12-0 aggregate scoreline across both legs. Here are highlights of that game that happened earlier at the Crossport Stadium.
For Ghana's Black Queens, Stella to Alice Kusi. A strike! What an incredible goal! Of a pass from Alice Kusi to find Presla Dubia, who manages to send across. And that is the second. This is another beautiful goal. Santua Grace, Evelyn Bedu. Evelyn still with the ball. It's well placed. And how about this? For the third goal for Ghana. Their movements have been top notch. How about this for another wonderful build up? A layout pass to Evelyn Bedu. And this will make it the fourth. Just when I was starting on their build-up, another wonderful build-up results in a very beautiful goal to give Ghana their fourth goal in the first half. And Anastasia Echika at the heart of it once again, her contribution to it. But look at that first touch to just get the ball off the hands of goalkeeper Diane before Evelyn Bedu just pass the ball into the net. Ghana 4, Rwanda 0.
This is how the Ghanaians or the Black Queens are enjoying their match. Look at how Edwin Bedu just calmly
over there. Well, this win adds to 6 other games which Nora Haptel has managed the Black Queens to secure victories, and it's 7 wins and 7. Let's take a look at the numbers, how the Black Queens have fared since Nora Haptel did take over of the side. And 7 games, like I mentioned, you just look at the number of goals they've conceded in that period and also the number of goals they've conceded. Of course, that is coming on your screen shortly. So that's how it's looking like since she took over the Black Queens. 7 games played, 26 goals scored and conceded none. They've not conceded any goals. Of course, Lawrence Bedu and Akosua J will be joining me shortly to do some analysis of how the team has fared so far. But these are the games she has managed. 26 goals scored, haven't not conceded any goal. Benin, Ghana played Benin in a friendly. We won that game 3-0 against Senegal in another friendly. They won that game by 3-0. Then, you know, the second phase of that friendly, they won by 1-0. Then against Guinea in the Olympic qualifiers, they defeated Guinea by 3-0. And in the return leg of that game, they defeated Guinea 4-0. Then Rwanda, in the first leg of that Women's AFCON qualifiers, defeated Rwanda all the way in Kigali, 7-0. And earlier today at the Crossport Stadium, they defeated them by 5-0. So that's how the Black Queens are looking since Nora Haptel did take over. Well, Akosua AJ is a sport journalist and she follows the Black Queens very closely. She also works with our GTV Sports Plus, and she joins me via phone to get some perspective about the Black Queens performance. Akosua, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a fairly decent outcome for the Black Queens since Nora Haptel did take over. Is this something you will agree? And why do you think this is happening with the Black Queens? Why do you think they are performing so well? They're not just scoring, they are defending well and also producing, enjoyable football. You could see the reaction of the fans at the Crossport Stadium today. They were happy.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in love with the Black Queens all over again. We're all excited for how they are playing. But then we look at some of the things that are really working well for this Nora Haptel administration. And then we look at the fact that, first of all, it is a foreigner who is taking charge of the Black Queens. And just as we see it happen even with the Black Stars, whenever there's a foreigner, we have this saying that we say the person will be in charge of everything. And she really is in charge of everything. I don't remember the last time we did a call-up and had so many foreign-based players than the local-based players. A lot of the time, in the former coaches' time, we had a lot of the players from our league. We would get them from, a lot of them from Ampem Dakwa, a chunk of them as well from Hazakhet Ladies. We look at the other teams, check who is their best player, and then we call them, put them together, and maybe have just a few foreign-based players we can get, players who are ready to foot their own bills to come and join. But we are in a new dispensation ever since Nora took over. Even for players who used to protest a lot, even for players who used to bring out everything that they feel was going wrong with the Black Stars and the previous coach, Black Queens, I beg your pardon, and the previous coaches. This time, they even called them. From my sources, she has to fight to get a player like Jennifer Kujo, who currently plays for SC Nordland, to come and play for Ghana. And she is one very vocal player who says her mind, who says it as it is. If she comes to camp and things are not going well, she would say it. If she comes to camp and things are going well, she would say it as well. This coach has been able to get the resources that she needs. She's able to get the players that she needs. And she's also very knowledgeable about the game. She's also very, she understands the game. She knows where to play what player. And to the point where now she's even made the players understand that if you are really a good player, sometimes you don't just have to restrict yourself to one role. So today, if you realize that during the game, Stella Nyameche was being played as a center back. And we asked her, was she okay with the role? She's like, yeah, I was okay, because the coach explained it to me with pictures and videos of very good players who may be playing in a different position, but they excel as well in other positions.
Great.
So the coach is getting to.
Yeah, so I mean, substantially, she's been able to impose herself on the team, and I've also been able to ensure some stability, calmness, and, there is some orderliness in the team, along with the, the tactics that she's deploying. Now, here at Joyce Sports, Lawrence Bedu is another one who follows the team very closely. Lawrence, and he is joining us via Zoom. Lawrence, you look at the numbers, it's impressive. 7 games, 7 wins, 26 goals scored, none conceded. Help us appreciate where the Black Queens are coming from and why this kind of performance under Nora Hoptel is important. All right, we seem to have lost Lawrence pretty shortly. He will join us. But, of course, let's talk about the games coming up for the Black Queens. Now they have Namibia to play. Now I'm sure that's Lawrence. We'll get back to him. But of course, let's talk about the game against Namibia. They have Namibia. That's in November 27th to December 5th. That's when the game will come off.
Yes.
Of course, we did not play in the last Women's AFCON, kicked out by Nigeria. How do you fancy our chances? It looks like we will qualify for the next AFCON? We
have to qualify. We must qualify, because if we win against Namibia, we don't play another round of qualifying. Straight as we qualify to the next year's AFCON. We missed last year. We can't afford to miss it. And if indeed all the numbers we are seeing, all the statistics we are giving that are working in favor of Nora Hoptel, all the resources that she is getting, all the positivity that she's really enjoying with the Black Queens now, the only thing she can really use to tell us that indeed she really means this job. Indeed, she's really changed the Black Queens. Indeed, all the investments they have put in the Black Queens now is paying off, is to qualify against Namibia.
Interesting. Great. So,
is it going to be easy? Of course not. It's not going to be easy, because today, Kenya kicked out Cameroon from the AFCON. So it's not going to be an easy job. But then we played with Senegal. We played with all these other teams. It will be a very good test for us to play against Namibia, whom I really don't think that are far above us. But then looking at what happened today against Cameroon, they just were kicked out in penalties. They lost 4-3 to Kenya. And so it's going to be, yes, is it going to be difficult? Of course. But is this something that Northampton can achieve?
Yeah, I'm interested. Of course, Namibia themselves, they defeated Gambia by 4 goals to 2 on aggregate to qualify to the next stage of the competition. But let me speak to Lawrence now, because just hold on a bit for us. Lawrence was trying to appreciate, you know, where the Black Queens are coming from, for which reason this kind of performance seems to be getting the kind of attention it's getting now. Help us appreciate. You've been following the team closely over the years. Where, you know, is the Black Queens coming from? For which reason this sudden rise in performance, quality football, seems to be getting the attention that it's currently getting?
All right. Good evening once again, Mubsbao. I think, if you quite remember, the last time that the Black Queens failed to qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations, and then their last game they lost, which was a friendly game. There were changes to the technical team, and then Nora had to come in with their own staff, with quite some new faces in the national team. It was the case of building a project, a long-term project, one that will see Ghana get back to playing some good football that it used to. Because the last time I quite remember we played competition with the Black Queens was during the AFCON that we hosted. I quite remember I was a young student. I didn't appreciate the kind of football we played. But then with Nora coming in, I think she served some good football. She's understood the project that she wants to build. She's led a team that is quite hungry. I was exchanging messages with someone like Coach Samira, who also used to play for the national team, Samira Suleimana. Just to appreciate the fact that there's desire, there's hunger in this team, and then they really want to go a long way and then build something for themselves. So it's a project that they have been longing for quite a time, and then they are glad that everything is working very well at the moment. When it started, it was a case of they are playing just friendly matches. We've not seen the team perform in competitive games. And then we've seen the last 4 competitive games that they played. They played in the Olympic qualifiers. They played in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. So it tells you the performance they put up in the friendly games were no fluke. There are calls that we want to see the Ghanaian side play against Nigeria.
Yeah, that's where I was even coming to. Yeah, Lawrence, that's where I was even coming to. Whether these games, you know, of course, we played against Benin, played against Senegal, Guinea. Now we've played against, what's his name? Rwanda. Some say, these countries, in terms of, as far as women football is concerned on the continent, they are not exactly the kind of competition you need to test if indeed the kind of investment you're putting into your women's game is yielding the desired result. They're saying you have to meet the North Africans, you have to meet the likes of Nigeria. Is this fair assessment that the team has not been properly tested yet? And all we are seeing, we shouldn't get over our heads at the moment.
Yeah, Musbao, it's a good question, but I don't side with this cause because we were in this country where we saw the Black Stars struggle against the likes of Comoros, against the likes of Central African Republic. If my team is playing well against some of these lower tier side, excuse my language, or some of these middle class countries when it comes to women's football, and they are putting up such a performance, it means there's a development. They are going somewhere. And I myself would like to see the performance against Nigeria, against the South Africans, against the Zambians. But then if these are the teams that this is the kind of performance we are putting up. In the past, we meet some of these teams, and then at most we are able to score 1 or 2, 3. But then if I'm going beyond 4, I'm going beyond 5. It tells you that there's desire, there's hunger in the team. There's a kind of mentality that we didn't have in the past, which probably you saw the last game we played against Nigeria, which saw us to qualify for the AFCON. We were even 10 we were a man down, and we played 10 against 11, but we were still able to match them. There were some chances we could have probably scored, and then still overturned the leg against Nigeria, but we couldn't convert those chances. So it tells you there's development that we've made. We might not have been there yet or faced the big gurus in women's football on the continent. But then with this kind of development that we are making, the kind of progress that we are making in recent times, I thought there's a cause for a good concern. We are on the right path, and I believe it won't take too long for us to be on the higher stage, challenging these countries once again, because we've been there before. And then if we are able to build this project for quite a long time, we are on course to do that.
We are on course to do that. Well, of course, If we qualify for the AFCON itself, I'm sure that will be a good platform to test the team. And of course, if we qualify for the Olympics, likewise, very good platform to test the team. Lawrence Baidu, Akosia J, thank you so much for joining us on Prime Sports tonight, where we draw the curtains on tonight's edition of Prime Sports. I'm Razak Musbah. We're going to be back sometime tomorrow. Do have a lovely evening.